I'm Senior Biotech Analyst John Vandermosten, joined by Allarity Therapeutics CEO Jim Cullem, who will review the market environment for small cap life sciences companies with me. In the overall economy, we've been fearing a recession and have watched interest rates rise substantially over the last 2.5 years. Money's become tighter, making it more difficult for development companies to advance their work. Jim, you recently wrote a letter to shareholders that addresses some of the difficulties that Allarity has faced over the last year or two. Despite the rough road, you've advanced your programs and partnerships and managed to raise capital. Tell us about your ups and downs.
Hey, John, great to be back with you again. I appreciate the opportunity. And with respect to the CEO letter, yes, that was an opportunity for me to speak to our shareholder base, which I had not previously done since becoming the CEO about 18 months back, regarding the long road that we have traveled the last 18 months, regarding some of the challenges and some of the successes we've had in that. And one of the greatest challenges, of course, for our own company, Allarity, and the entire sector that we operate in, which is the microcap biotech sector, sub 50 million market cap companies, is just staying alive, just being able to raise enough capital to continue doing a capital intensive business such as novel human therapeutic development. We burn cash. We don't sell anything that generates revenue until we succeed with one of our programs and have an exit. So I've been very proud of our successes and our doggedness, myself, my internal team, our external team, in being able to advance against this very difficult tide, keep the company capitalized.
As you said, the companies have been declining in share price, but their programs have been moving forward. They've been advancing the science. They've shown new drugs that have worked, broadly. So why don't you share with us some of the milestones that you've achieved over the last 6 to 8 quarters at Allarity?
Happy to do that, John. We announced to the market about 18 months ago that we were shifting the strategic pipeline focus of the company away from monotherapy development towards combination therapy development, sort of coming up to speed with where the oncology field and standard of care already is. It has been for some time, and it's going to continue to go in that direction. So we made that announcement August of last year, I believe, and one of the milestones we hit is we actually announced the first enrollment and dosing of our first patient in our first combination therapy program. That was back in March. Our combination program that Dr. Mirza may talk a little bit about, combining stenoperib, our PARP inhibitor, with davitinib, our pan-tyrosine kinase inhibitor, in a phase 1b combo study looking at multiple solid tumors, including ovarian cancer. That was one great development for us. We have had several publications that came out this year regarding studies that we had done either historically or currently underway with DRP companion diagnostics. And I think my colleague and our Chief Scientific Officer, Steen Midson, will talk more about those in a little while. So we have been executing in terms of continuing to validate and show the power of the DRP companion diagnostics and platform in prospective clinical studies. We most recently announced some early data, initial data from one of our phase 2 monotherapy studies that's still ongoing with Exempra. We had a 4-patient readout there.
So far this year, we've seen 72 deals worth $135 billion take place, which compares to last year, where there were, I think, 44 deals and about $50 billion worth of transactions taking place. So, we've seen an increase year over year. What are your observations about the key trends in the market, and have you seen any other interest from others that might lead to something?
Well, my first comment and observation, John, is anytime we're talking about billions of dollars of deals being done, I'd love to get my piece of that for Allarity. And of course, in this business that we're in, good clinical data and provocative data is what drives these deals. We are still moving the company skating to that point towards the end of this year when we can reach the interim data readouts that we've told the market we we were pushing to reach to hopefully be able to drive that kind of a deal. We certainly, for many years and continuing to this point, are constantly exploring potential investment into these programs, potential strategic partnerships into these programs. We have now and have always had a number of potential partners waiting in the wings. Some are under confidential disclosure agreements that are tracking the progress of these programs. They would like to see more data. We would too. We'd like to, go from 3 to 4 patients initial data readouts to, 12, 15 patients at an interim readout to hopefully catalyze that kind of a transaction, whether it's longer term, fundamental institutional investors that see the long-term potential of the company and will put in the type of capital it needs for us to get there over the next 2, 3 years plus, or some type of a strategic, global oncology company that would partner with us. So the potential is certainly there, and our hope and our goal is to get there by getting these data readouts, getting some positive data, and trying to drive that type of a deal.
Great. Well, thank you, Jim. And we have had Allarity Therapeutics CEO Jim Cullem with us on Unboxing Biotech, ticker symbol ALLR.